Tag this. Tag this.
Oh shit! Hashtag Angry Bachelors.
Tag this.
Literal tag. Literal tag.
Yeah.
Harry, we're trending. Harry, I just logged on to Twitter. We're trending. Hashtag AB is trending.
Let me quick get the germs out of my hands for these fresh trends.
Yeah, I'm looking on Twitter. Everyone's tweeting about us. Kanye just tweeted about us. He's watching the broadcast.
Kanye West is watching?
He's watching the broadcast with Northwest and Kim. He's saying he's loving the banter we're having right now. He's saying it's hilarious and he's really enjoying it. He said it's really inspiring him for his next album. So,
Ethan, this is great news.
This is awesome. Yeah, I love it. Kanye is one of my very favorite Twitter personalities.
I mean, is there a more across the board, universally, easily likable person?
No. No. No.
No. No.
No. No.
No.
No. Except Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen DeGeneres. Like Ellen and Kanye, I feel like are like neck and neck for most likable person.
You mean literally neck to neck? They're literally standing neck to neck with their necks touching.
Yeah, and they also race each other every week. On
Okay.
Hollywood Boulevard, and they're also neck and neck there. They're neck and neck in multiple ways.
That makes sense. Yeah, celebrities do tend to hang out in packs.
Yeah, that's why they're celebrities, because they came up together.
That's great. So should we get started?
Yeah, why don't we improvise an audiobook for everybody? Like a book that you can listen to in 30 minutes.
You know what? That sounds like a great idea, Harry. I'd love to improvise an audiobook.
Oh, cool. I guess, how do we get a suggestion?
See something there?
I see some paint.
All right, paint?
Paint.
Okay. Jordan walked into the painted room. He saw the bright red colors on the wall. He also saw the bright green colors on the wall.
The shadow cast against his face and his ponytail. He wore a linen shirt with frills on the collar and a brown vest.
His friend, Montel, wore a light blue tunic with a pink bow tie, and he smelled a little bit of plaster.
Montel carried a bucket from his chamber pot bucket over his shoulder and a bucket of plaster on the other shoulder. And again, he was walking to see his other friend whose name was Jordan. His name was Jordan.
There were two Jordans. Jordan number one said to Montel, "Say, Montel."
"What are you doing over there, Montel? What's in one bucket and what's in the other?" "Well," said Montel, "in one of these buckets, I have my chamber pot refuse. In my other bucket, I have my plaster for my art."
Don't you get them confused sometime? I mean, they look the same, so what if you get the refuse confused with the plaster and put the refuse on the wall and put the plaster in the garbage? Then you're out some plaster and you've wasted refuse. Of course, you don't need refuse. The other Jordan walked in. He just silently observed their conversation, saying nothing.
Montel opened his mouth to speak, but he couldn't forget that Jordan was secretly one of his lost brothers. Montel had been raised an orphan, but had been told he had two twin brothers. He knew Jordan was one of them. If only he could find out who the other twin was. He looked over to the silent Jordan. He looked back.
The silent Jordan just looked at him and stared. The silent Jordan was an odd man. He was an immigrant of some sort, unclear of what nature, maybe Eastern European, maybe Middle Eastern, maybe just Eastern. Who knows?
"Well, howdy," said the silent Jordan,
breaking his silence.
"It's great to be back in this room. All right, And I'm happy to say that when you take that chamber pot outside, you'll see I've purchased a new carriage for my brother and his orphan friend.
Montel and Jordan just stared at the third Jordan. Second Jordan, sorry. The third Jordan has not yet arrived. The third Jordan is en route. I, as the narrator, get confused. Chapter 2.
Chapter 2. The third Jordan. Master Jordan, would you like me to slow down this carriage or speed it up? Said the carriage driver.
No, carriage driver Jordan. I want you to stay at the exact same speed, for it is the optimal speed and the one I have chosen for you. If you do anything differently, then the speed will be changed and my body composition will be upset. Do you understand, carriage driver Jordan? The third Jordan said to the fourth Jordan.
Yes, I understand, third Jordan, Master Third Jordan. I, the fourth Jordan, the carriage driver Jordan, do understand that if I start to speed up, the cart will move faster. But if I start to slow down, it will slow down. Proceed, horses, proceed, said the fourth Jordan. The woods were foggy, and the moon shone down on the two extra Jordans. The trees had just crisply fallen in fall.
A coyote ran out of the woods, a sort of portend of bad things to come. For it was a dark night, and it was a scary night, and a lot of bad things will probably happen tonight, but not yet, because Jordan has to arrive. The third Jordan has to arrive with the first two Jordans at the house. So once they arrive, the scary things might happen, but right now we're just foreshadowing.
Yeah, and again, just to carry that point home to anyone who's reading, the wolf is the coyote's symbol of like foreboding or ominous symbols to come.
Yeah, a coyote doesn't typically live in the woods. A coyote is often in the desert, but for the sake of scary imagery, the coyote will live here just this once.
And just to add to that, there's an owl, and it lands on the wolf coyote's shoulders and hoots. It goes right to the reader.
Yeah,
the reader in the eye.
It makes direct eye contact with the reader, and it goes woohoo, 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 and the reader jumps back. He gets spooked, but he's okay. Keeps reading because it's too interesting.
Chapter 3. The reader stands up to get a glass of milk. I'm thirsty. I need a glass of milk.
The reader walks over to his fridge. Of course, I am vegan, so I won't be drinking dairy milk. I'll be drinking almond milk.
The reader opens the fridge with a gesture specific and grand. The reader moves their grimy nails into the dark fridge, lit from behind, shining in their eyes the dark light of the black light fridge. The reader pulls the almond milk from the fridge, chugs the whole gallon like a slob.
The reader then grabs his stomach in agony. Ouch! I should not have drank all that almond milk. That's too much almond milk for one man to consume. The reader then walks over to the bathroom. He lays down on the ground, sticks his finger down his throat, and starts gagging. After a few hard, violent gags, he manages to puke out about half the almond milk jug. I guess it's a jug. Carton. He is also confused about whether it was a jug or a carton. He is stupid and does not remember the form it came in. Anyway, he pukes out about half of it, and he feels a little better. And he goes to his bed and lays down. He then remembers he has a book to read. So he picks up his book and opens up to chapter 8. Chapter 8 is called The 14th Jordan.
Chapter 8, The 14th Jordan. I say, 12th Jordan, you've killed the Jordans 1 through 7, and now there's only 47 of us, and this is the 15th Jordan.
And only half of us are dogs. said the 22nd Jordan.
A crow landed on the 22nd Jordan's shoulder and spat out pieces of a coyote. It's a motif for the readers.
Bad Jordan, the 22nd Jordan said to the bird Jordan. You ate Coyote Jordan.
Just then, a jangle sounded on the door, as if keys were being used. What's that? Said the 22nd Jordan. Someone help me, said the first Jordan, still stabbed into the floor. The third Jordan said, what's going on? The 25th Jordan shot him in the face and exploded all over the room, greasing the door handle just enough that it opened and the sheriff burst in. What's going on? She said.
Sheriff Jordan, you're here, said the 36th Jordan. Sheriff Jordan looked at them and smiled. But haven't I always been here?
Brothers. There's my brothers. I was looking for you guys.
Sheriff Jordan gives all of them a group hug. The dogs just sort of jump on them. The half the dogs. Half of the Jordans are dogs, and they just sort of jump on them.
And then in italics, the sections in italics, you'll hear a ding. Ding! I'm a dog. My name is Jordan. These are my brothers. I must perform 1 million good deeds before I'm turned back into a human, Jordan. A wizard named Jordan told me this.
Montel walks back in from the bathroom. So, what did I miss? The 35th Jordan says, oh, not much, just all us Jordans. Montel laughs and picks up a carton of almond milk. Oh, you Jordans.
Part 2. The Jordans. There once was a man named Jordan. He lived by the sea on a tall, mossy brook, overlooking the sea and its mist. He would smell the mist every morning and think, one day, I'm going to start a family with just one son.
Sometimes he wondered if the mist coming from the sea had the salt that's in the seawater, because if the mist comes from the sea, which is salt water, it must be salt mist also. But he couldn't taste it when he tasted the mist on his tongue and stuck his tongue out, so he assumed it wasn't salt mist. But he still wondered often. Anyway, he needed to make a family, so he met a local woman named Jordan.
But then Jordan said to him, trust in me, and your will be good, Jordan. Trust in me, and his love will shine through us. Trust in me, and David's sacrifice will be all for naught. Jordan said, okay, to Jordan.
Jordan then asked the female Jordan, does that mean I can stick my willy in you? The female
yes,
Jordan.
Please do, said Jordan to Jordan.
The male Jordan then stuck his wiener in the female Jordan, and they started making love.
Oh, said the female Jordan, I love living here in Jordan, being made love to by Jordan.
The male Jordan said, oh yeah, there's nothing better than fucking a Jordan. The male Jordan ejaculated into the female Jordan, and the female Jordan got dressed and went about her day. 9 months later,
smile on her face.
With a smile. 9 months later, baby Jordan was born.
Born into a bog. Little fish eggs born into a bog. You can see their eyes through the orange sacs born into the bottom of the bog. The bottom of the bog. The bottom of the bog. Little fish sacs in the bottom of the bog. One eye peeking out through the bottom of the bog. One fish peeking out through the bottom of the bog. We all have things in the bottom of the dog. We all got to win in the bottom of the bog. There's a race down in the bottom of the bog. Riding down in the bottom of the bog. Ding!
Male Jordan sang to himself as he walked over to his son. He cradled his son with the the love that only a Jordan can show, and he gave him a kiss on the head, which was slimy because he was in the bog and he's sort of a mutant character.
Melting into Christ's earth, when Christ spoke down from the heavens, I have given you life, and you will give me this land.
Jordan said to Christ, "Okay, sounds like a fair deal." Christ agreed, and they shook on it. Christ stuck out his hand from heaven, which is much larger than Jordan's whole body, and Jordan stuck his hand into Christ's hand, which was comparatively tiny. It's like Jordan's hand was about the size of a fourth of Christ's fingernail, but they still managed to have a sort of handshake in spite of the size difference.
And the melting of Jordan melted a hole in Christ's hand the size of God's love.
And God said, "Ow!
That's my son. Don't do that to my son."
Jordan laughed and said, "You're right. I fucked up. My bad."
Laughed to Jordan.
Montel walked over and noticed this whole scene. "Say, what's God doing here?" said Montel.
"My son," said Jordan and Christ and God in unison, "you've returned to the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and Jordan, and my son returning to me, the Father, Son, and Jordan. Here in Jordan, where I made love to your mother Jordan and birthed your brothers. Jordan, 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 and your sister, Jordan."
Montel heard this and started feeling, he started questioning what God was doing. He paused and he asked God, "Hey God, I have a question for you." God said, "What is it, Montel?" "Say God, how come my name is Montel and everyone else in this village is named Jordan?"
"Because I'm going to turn you into a statue," God said. "A statue that looks a whole lot like my son, Jesus."
Montel said, "Oh, that doesn't sound, listen, I got something else I got to do. I got some sheep that got to be tended to.
Chapter 2. The assassins nailed the statue of Montel to the cross, hammering bits of steel through his marble hands. He screamed a marble scream, stony enough to sink the big ships.
Montel begged and pleaded. He even asked that they rename him Jordan just so they wouldn't be crucifying him. They laughed.
They laughed. "Preposterous," said Jordan the assassin. "How could we name you Jordan when all of us are named Jordan?" "Yay," replied the Jordans. "In agreement."
And so he was nailed to the center of the town. Then the 72nd Jordan asked the 45th Jordan, who was a dog, "What should we do now?" And the 45th Jordan was a dog, so he didn't answer. So the second Jordan said, "Well, now that we have this Christ figure up, we must erect a church to pray upon Montel, a.k.a.
So the Southerners came down from the north in their big pinstripe suits with their pocket watches and said, Psalm 41, upon to God we will drop the tracks of his train and steer them forth to the biggest and only church of Jordan in Jordan, run of Jordan, son of Jordan."
Just as he finished that psalm, the band Sum 41 walked in. "Say, did we hear our name? Who'd like a musical performance?"
Chapter 3. The assassins nailed Sum 41 to the cross, driving the hard nails through their hands, creating a hole the size of God's love.
Sum 41 was in deep agony. The lead singer said, This is even worse than the time I married Avril Lavigne. All the Jordans laughed.
La 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 la, they said, crouching into a position of magic, swirling around God's only planet. God's only planet. God's only planet. God's only planet, and it's his only place. God's only planet on this earth green face. God's only planet where nowhere else is where God's only planet. Don't go searching, people. End of Psalm.
At this point, the reader put the book down. I'm so confused about what's happening. I know I skipped some chapters, but this really has no structure. It's very freeform and surreal. I really don't understand this. Also, my stomach still hurts from drinking too much almond milk. I puked up a lot of it earlier, but the puke made my throat feel acidy because there's acid in my stomach that came up with the almond milk. Anyway, I'm going to go take another nap and leave this book here for now.
Father Angelo paused the tape recorder once the reader left. So the reader, my fellow churchgoer, has questions about the Bible. Well, I should answer them, just in case anyone else should ever read my thoughts as I record them into this tape recorder. He sat on the john and pressed record. First of all, almond milk makes you puke because you're lactose intolerant. That's just how it goes. Second of all, don't question the Bible unless you're writing an essay. And in that case, I'll be grading it.
Sister Christian comes in. Father Angelo, if he's lactose intolerant, that means he can't handle dairy. Almond milk, by its very nature, doesn't have dairy. What do you make of this contradiction? What do you think God has intended for this, if he is in fact having a lactose reaction, but not drinking any lactose? Would you say this is the work of Beelzebub? Or perhaps Sum 41?
Everyone should own a gun. Everyone should own a gun, for sure, said the father. Everyone should own a gun. I want everyone to go out and buy a gun, no matter who they are. I want them to have a gun, keep it on them at all times, keep it in their room, make plans. Everyone should have a gun.
Sister Christian writes this down furiously on her notepad. She nods as she listens. Okay, I'll go buy guns for everyone in the parish. And should we use them frequently?
Yes, to make points.
Okay, says Sister Christian. Sounds like a great plan. I'll go put that into play and just... Also, Father Angelo, how do you think this book ends? Should we finish it up or...
End side 1. Father Angelo's Bible. Thanks, everyone. That's our show. Spread the word. Spread the good word.